Dear colleagues, let me present the result of our research on the topic, the problem of preserving and strengthening the occupational health of the teacher, a historical aspect. Today, the school needs a competent teacher capable of personal and professional growth, to maintain a professional form to achieve professional longevity. Preserving and promoting the health of the teacher is an urgent problem of pedagogical and psychological science, and at the same time a strategic issue of the modern school. In scientific sources, there are works concerning the problems of formation of health culture in the history of theoretical thought, the state of elaboration of the problem of forming a healthy way of life of the future teacher, research of the phenomenon of burnout in retrospect, historical aspect of occupational health of the specialists in industrial sphere. The purpose of the article is to analyze the state of development and genesis of research into the problem of preserving and enhancing the teachers, occupational health in the history of scientific thought and practice, identify positive ideas for creative use in modern conditions, chronological boundaries of the study, a period of the beginning of the 20th century, beginning of the 21st century. The definition of the lower boundary is connected with the emergence of the movement for scientific organization of work, the development of issues of occupational health of workers. The upper limit of the study is due to the emergence of series of psychological and pedagogical studies on the problem of preserving and occupational health of the teacher. The following methods were used in the study: the dialectical method, comparative historical and harmonic methods, chronological and diachromic methods, a prognostic method. The development of occupational health issues for workers dates back to the early 20th century and is associated with the emergence of the movement for scientific organization of labor. Occupational health issues are being developed in England. Scientists in these countries investigated the problems of optimization of work organization, production safety, the problem of increasing vital energy, the phenomenon of occupational fatigue and its impact on performance. The study traces the genesis and characterizes the periods of studying the problem of preserving and strengthening the teachers' professional health, areas of research in the history of scientific thought. First period, the beginning of the 20th century, the end of 20th century, characterized by the emergence of movement of the scientific organization of work, the development of issue of ensuring the health of workers, US scientists investigating the problem of work organization, optimization, production safety, improving working capacity, overcoming occupational fatigue. Considerable experience of pedagogical education in Russia, in particular the commission of the study of teacher labor, on the study of the conditions and mechanisms of emergence of occupational maladaptation, occupational deformations, finding out occupational difficulties, their impact on health of the teacher. The pedagogical direction, didasology as a complex science about the teacher is presented. It is proposed to create an independent diasogical institute, complex researches of teachers and carried out. Second period, 30s and 50s of the 20th century. In Soviet times, the problem of the occupational deformation of the teacher was relatively closed for domestic scientists. Ideological pains observed the facts of the negative impact of the profession on the individual and artificially removed from the spectrum of important scientific problems. The views of Makarenko and Sukhomlinskyi about the reasons for the teacher health deterioration, the ways and means of relieving emotional stress, and improving his psychological and well-being are extremely relevant today. Third period, 50s and 80s of the 20th century. Most scientific works, 50s to 80s of the 20th century, are developed mainly of the formation of healthy lifestyles of children, adolescents, student years. At this time, the most developed problem of forming a healthy lifestyle through cycle culture and the science of health were emerging. First, it was called pedagogy and then senology. 70s, 80s of the last century formed a new scientific direction of the psychology of health. The goal of this area is not only to prevent and development of mental and somatic pathologies, but also to preserve, strengthen the holistic development of the mental, social, somatic components of health. The father of health psychology is the American scientist Makarenko. In the 80s, a constructive, purposeful experimental study of burnout, the research of the emergence and prevention of professional burnout of teachers began. At the same time, there were workers that explored resilience as a quality of personality. Fourth period, 19th and the beginning of the 21st century. Scientific works of scientists of this period are devoted to the problems of formation of valeological conceptions, valeological culture, healthy way of life, culture of health of teachers, preparation of future teachers for health creative activity. In the modern psychological and pedagogical literature, a great deal of research is devoted to the study of the essential aspects, factors of the occurrence of occupational stress, syndrome of occupational burnout of teacher, the formation of healthy lifestyles, valeological culture of future teachers, Nazaruk, Rozov, Zajczkova, and others, the prevention of the syndrome of occupational burnout of teachers, occupational stress. Maintaining and strengthening the teachers' professional health has always been and remains to be an urgent problem of pedagogical and psychological science. Practically orientated direction of the professional health preservation and strengthening problem research, which is connected with the development of preventing measures and ways of preservation and strengthening of the teachers' professional health, including in the condition of quarantine caused by coronavirus infection. Increasing the level of stress resistance of teacher and the development of their resilience, prevention of professional deformations, formation of red lines for self-rehabilitation. We see the prospects of our further scientific research in the problem study of stress resistance and resilience of teachers and the stage of training in higher education, and the system of formal and informal pedagogical education, and in developing ways to implement research results in practice, in particular in the centers of pedagogical consulting. Thank you for your attention.